This is me waiting for you to recognize and realize that we have a new microphone on set. You guys, my lapel days are over. Hey, the last episode, if you want to check the last episode, you can just go to the last episode and just check it and see that you are using a lapel mic. But that's the power, that's the thing, that's the power of starting with what you have and starting where you are at. And as long as you're keeping at it, sometimes, yeah, great things do happen, and great things like this mic happen. So someone gifted me this mic actually on my birthday last week, and a camera as well. I was gifted a camera and some technical books that, yeah, I'll show you all that shabam. Anyway, my name is Grace Musungu, and welcome to the Data and Potatoes podcast, where we talk about everything data and also potatoes, and I was just sitting down and thinking to myself, who names their podcast Data and Potatoes and then never brings potatoes on set? But I say that has to change, because I brought potatoes on set. These ones are the chili lemon flavor, and I was looking at this packet and thinking, so why have we been accepting lemons from life? Why do we accept lemons from life? Because to me, I don't think life has been considerate when it's giving us lemons, because I have never, ever, in the history and far beyond the history, I have never, ever felt hungry and said, oh, I'm so hungry, let me go and have a lemonade. I have never said that. I have never said that. But guess what I've said when I was hungry? I have said, I'm so hungry, let me grab a bag of crisps, or let me go and have fries, or let me go and have mashed potatoes. I have never said that. So that's why we need to come together as humans and say, hey, we are no longer going to be receiving lemons from life, because when you really think about it, life doesn't care. Like, it could be hot, it could be the hottest month ever, and I've never heard someone say that life gave them lemons and ice cubes. It could be the hottest month ever, and life doesn't really care. It will be like, oh, you lost your job, here are lemons. What? Oh, you're heartbroken? Oh, here are lemons. Your startup is not working, here are some lemons. We need to stop that, because for me, if you're really being honest, I would prefer it if life gave us something like potatoes. Because if you give something, if you just walk with me, if you're given something like potatoes, it has range. You can do so much with like potatoes. Or you want to watch a movie, or here's a bag of lemon chili crisps. Or you don't like lemon chili, guess what, there's also other flavors. There's tomato ketchup, there's salt and vinegar, there's barbecue, whatever, there's so many. Or you don't want crisps, or you're hungry, here are fries. Oh, what are you having? Chicken? Guess what goes well with chicken? Mashed potatoes. Guess what also goes well with chicken? Fries. Or you just want a boiled potato? Oh, here it is. Or it's Friday, adult juice. Guess what makes adult juice too? Potatoes. Or you're really tired, or you can even be a couch potato. That's what I'm talking about. This is the range guys, look at the range that we could be working in. This is the range I'm talking about, you guys. So that's why I decided, for me, I'm no longer going to be receiving lemons from life anymore, because you don't care if I have water, you don't even care if I have sugar, you don't even care if I even like lemons. What if I have ulcers? And you're that busy giving me lemons. Anyway, before you all come at me, I know what I know what that quote means, but yeah, it's so redundant. Like, let's spice things up. Anyway, I don't know about you, but me, I stopped receiving lemons from life, and it's been really good, and it's been working perfectly fine. So welcome to today's episode. Today we're going to be talking about pseudo productivity in tech, because one thing I've really come to realize is that this tech journey, it really needs a lot of self-honesty. You can lie to everybody on LinkedIn, because a lot of people do that on LinkedIn actually. But not my monkey, not my business. So you can lie to everybody on LinkedIn. You can lie to us on social media. That's like your moral. Now that's on you. That's your moral that's your moral situation going on there and the things that you believe in. But I want you to just, like, at 2 a.m. at night, when you're sleeping, When you're sleeping, when the world is asleep and you're just awake, your thoughts are keeping you awake. I just want you to call yourself for a small meeting and attend and tell yourself, by the way, I'm doing nothing. There's really nothing that I'm doing. Yes, I'm posting the motivational quotes. Yes, I'm all loud on social media talking about tech, but honestly, when it comes to my skill level, I am doing absolutely nothing. And it's okay. And I'm not here to advise you. In fact, I'm here to tell on myself and to tell you my own story, because I was here thinking, what better story is there to tell than a story that you've actually lived? And I used to be that person. And I know that right now sasa uko hapo unasema ati oh, that's why she keeps on posting on LinkedIn. Calm down. It was way before you all even discovered me, you know. All 44 of you discovered me. You know, I have like 44 subscribers. Hey, thanks guys. So it was before, and you know, you 44 guys, we are rebranding this channel for you 44 people. I decided I'm going to give you premium content in a aesthetically pleasing channel. You'll see by next week, Evie, you'll see what I'll do for you, my 44 people. Thank you so much for subscribing. So I was saying that, yeah, I used to be those people. So what much better story is there to tell than a story that you've actually lived? Because I used to be those people until one day I actually had to like self-check myself and call myself for a meeting and just, you know, like nijirudishe. In English, that's what recuperating. Yeah. I just had to like call myself and just be honest with myself, because I have realized that in these streets of like social media, nobody can be accountable for you. People don't even care. And case in point, let me even start by this short story before I get into how I was doing pseudo productivity. And pseudo productivity, by the way, is doing everything else. You're busy doing everything else. You're busy everywhere apart from where you're actually supposed to be. You're busy doing everything else. You're everywhere else apart from where you're supposed to be doing, where you're supposed to be. And you know where you're supposed to be? Upskilling. Talking about tech does not mean that you're upskilling and all those things. And let me tell you about why I feel like you have to be accountable for yourself on social media. Because people don't, not that they don't care, but people have so much going on in their lives. Okay, so nobody is keeping tabs with you that much. Like, you don't have a spotlight on your head. So there's a time last year that I did, and this is what made me realize that actually people do not care so much. Which is a good thing. When last year I was doing this challenge for 100 days of financial analysis, which I never got to finish. So I got like dates 40, 45, or even 36. Let's just go with 36. So I had started 100 days of financial analysis, and I used to post every day. When I read something, like I'd post it. When I do a project, like I'm posting it, I'd post my dashboards and stuff like that. And I realized that at some point I just got tired. I got tired. I was way younger. You know, I was younger. You know, I was still relying on motivation to be in tech. But now, hey, I've grown. My frontal lobe has developed. I'm good now. So at some point, I got demotivated. I got demotivated because not a lot of people, of course, were interacting with my content during that time. Not like I didn't have like as much engagement as I would have loved during that time when I was much younger. Right now I don't even care. Like, you know, right now if I post something and only 2 people like it, I mean, it's fine. It's it's honestly fine. If I post something and 8 people interact with it, it's fine, because 8 people is a lot of people. Even 2 people is a lot of people. Even 1 person is a lot of person. You know, wrong English. If you are just like randomly walking like in the street, and then a stranger came and told you like, I like what you're doing, you know, or I like your shirt, you would feel good, right? That's how you need to start looking at engagement, as not as clicks, but as people. If 8 people liked your post, imagine 8 people randomly during the day coming up to you and telling that they like your shirt or like your hair. Do you know how do you get where I'm going with this? Like, you'd feel so good about yourself. But then I was younger and my frontal lobe had not developed, and I was equating success to likes, but not anymore. Right now I'm self-fulfilled. I found fulfillment in myself, even if it's 1 person who likes my stuff. Like, I mean, it's really fine, because I know for a fact my posts right now cannot have 0 likes. 0 likes and I'm alive. I have to like my own post. My posts at least should have one like, and that one like is for me, from me, and I'm good with that. Like I'm content with that. So yeah, so during that time I got demotivated and I stopped posting. So I stopped at like date, I think 36, somewhere there. I just stopped posting. I am telling you, you guys, nobody cares about you because, and they shouldn't. And they shouldn't. Nobody even DM'd me to ask me, we've seen that you've not been posting. No, people just move on. There's so much content to like consume. And during that time now, that's when like I was able to like now recollect and and just call myself for a meeting and start saying that why am I actually doing this thing? I'm doing this thing because I want to grow my skill. So what does success look like? I defined my success metrics because it's like what does success look like for me on social media, on LinkedIn, on Twitter. Success for me is now not on social media. It's by the progress that I'm making when I am upskilling. So it doesn't really matter much if you're interacting with my post. That's not what I'm measuring my success as. My success now is like, oh, there's progress. So I wasn't able to do this kind of dashboard last week, but now this week I'm able to do this. Or it was taking me 2 days to do this project, but now it's taking me a day to do this project. Now that's project to me. So your likes are now they are like collateral. So when I tell you that I'm very proud of my 44 subscribers right now, I know we are like at 44. I don't look at you guys as just like random people. I'm like, I imagine a room full of 44 people. What would I even tell 44 people if 44 people were like sitting in this room today? Those are like a whole lot of people, and that's how you need to start redefining these things. So now I've defined what pseudo productivity is. It's just doing everything else apart from the very thing that you're supposed to be doing, which is upscaling. That's like the meaning in English. In Kiswahili it's just something like, oh yeah, like hakuna kitu nafanya basically. And I realized that this tech journey, it really needs a lot of like self-honesty. Like you have to be really honest with yourself. Lie to people if you want to, that's on you, but you have to be really honest with yourself. And if you're doing the most or you're just not doing anything. And the mind is very powerful. I'm telling you, the mind is very powerful, because if you lie to yourself like an enough number of times, you start believing it. You start believing your own lie. It's like you're getting high on your own supply. And it's so mind-blowing, because if you tell yourself something an enough number of times, you start believing it. So for me, I was really busy doing everything else apart from upskilling. So I had a moment where I was really upskilling, and then I don't know what happened. Like I just fell off the bandwagon and I just started being a busybody. Basically, this is what I was doing during that time. When I was starting my journey in tech, in data, I was very focused. And if you knew me during that time, like in real life, like you'd know that I was very focused and I was really upskilling. But then ikafika pahali kashetani tu kakaniingililia, Man, I'm very sorry for my international audience. Like I really wish Kiswahili was just like a universal, because the delivery is really key. There are some things that cannot be there's some things that cannot just be translated. So it got to a point where now I was moving really well. I was moving very steadily, and it got to a point where I stopped upskilling. I don't know why. Honestly, I really don't know why. Because when I was upskilling, like if I found something like very hard, I'd come on Twitter and like banter with it. And that's how actually I got my following on Twitter, through tech. And I'd just like banter with it. And that's how I discovered that, kumbe kuna a lot of people who are doing this tech, which was really amazing. And then at some point, I can't tell you at what point I fell off the bandwagon. I started doing everything else apart from upskilling. I just fell off the bandwagon. So if I used to do it, because at the time I used to do it every single day, and then when I started now falling off the bandwagon, I started doing it today, and then tomorrow and the other day I don't do it, and then on Thursday like I do it, and then you get, like, I started being very consistent with my inconsistency. Hey, it would sign me up, sai, kwa studio. I'm in the wrong career, you guys. So I became very consistent with my inconsistency. And I knew that I was very inconsistent, but to cover up for my inconsistency, now I started the activities, the side activities in tech. So I started networking. I'm gonna put it quote unquote because right now I know what networking is, and what I was doing was not networking. And I would meet someone, like if you're in tech and I met you during that, actually not, it was just one person that I'm not going to mention their name, but I would meet someone, and I would be like, hey, do you know someone who is in data science that can mentor me? And mentors are really, is it mentors or mentors, whatever, potato, they are really good. I feel like they really do play a big role in, like, if you're using your brain really well. And I was in every boot camp. Also, boot camps are great if you're using your brain very well and you're applying critical thinking. But I wasn't. I was younger during that time. My frontal lobe had not developed. Right now, I'm older, I'm wiser. My frontal lobe had developed. So these are the good old days. These are just the good old days. So I would do that, and I would ask someone, like, do you know someone who can mentor me into this thing? And they would tell me, and I would just be on phone talking to this mentor every time, like I should do this. And for me, in my head, that is registering as productivity, while in real sense, in actual sense, I am not being productive. I am just a busybody in this tech ecosystem. And it went on for a very long time. I was networking. I was in every tech event that you could really think of. Even have photos, I cannot like put them here. And during that time, it had not clicked for me that this cannot be a substitute of this in tech. You have to do them together. You cannot network more than you are upskilling, because even if you network and you get these opportunities, you're just going to waste them, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to hire you because you networked with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am hiring you because you're solving my problems and you're really good at solving the problems. And that's what I was doing. So this is upskilling, this is the networking and all the other shenanigans. So my upskilling is like here. But I am networking. I am looking for mentors. I'm posting on LinkedIn during that time. You didn't know me at that time, so calm down. If you think it's this year, I'm a last year, calm down. You didn't even know me. So at that time, I think I had like 100 and something connections, or 200. So I am doing, I'm doing this, all these things that are going up, up, up. But my upskilling level is here. And the thing is, when you're starting your tech journey, is today you read something, and then tomorrow, tomorrow it evaporates. It just goes. And you have to like do something over and over and over and over again until it becomes like a muscle memory. So if you're starting your tech journey, do not feel discouraged. Everyone has been there. Today you read something, tomorrow you don't remember. You feel so incompetent. You go on YouTube, you see a tutorial that is working. It's working on their computer. In your computer, is not working. It's all part of the game. Like, it's part of the process. You just have to persevere through that. You have to to forge through past that. So I was doing all these things apart from the very thing which is upskilling. And I lied to myself for a very long time that I am doing the most, but in real sense I was doing nothing. And you see, when you lie to yourself also, there's an image that you portray to people that you're doing the most. And then also people start believing that you're doing the most, which you can use that for your advantage, which we'll talk about these things later, but which people now start thinking that you're doing the most, but you're not really doing the most. But you're not doing the most. So, and I used to talk about my tech journey. Sasa hapo sasa ungenitoa. I was talking about my tech journey. If I met someone, like, I was so excited, I would tell them that I am doing data science, I am doing data analytics and stuff like that. This is what it's supposed to be doing. This is how like the future looks like. And I would talk about it so much, which is really good. Talk about what you're doing, to be really honest. Talk about it, But for me, I'm talking about it, but then I'm doing nothing. And it went on for months. I am telling you, it went on for months. Nobody was checking me because, I've told myself this lie so many times that I've started to believe it. So this one time this is my point where I called myself for like a meeting. I started telling myself that I started feeling very overwhelmed that I don't know a lot of stuff. like I don't know a lot of stuff, but also I'm also like, it's like I'm borderline. I can tell that I don't know much, but then also denial, like also denial is also, it's also a lot during that time. And so this one time somebody DM'd me on LinkedIn, and they were asking me about something in data, and they had like encountered a problem, and then they like, oh yeah, could you please help me out with this? And I managed to help them with the problem, with a lot of moving from, at that time chat GPT was not even there. It was Stack Overflow. So now you see, it's not juicy. It was only Stack Overflow during that time. So I managed to like go and like look for the solution, and then like I helped them. That was the point where I started feeling like, I might actually need to upskill more. But then also denial is the river in Egypt. So like at that point I'm also like in denial. I'm like, what do you mean? Like I've been at this thing for like a long time. Like I need to be knowing these things, because at the back of my mind I'm like, yeah, I've been at it for like a while. So like during that specific period, like my skill level are not supposed to be here, but then I'm overcompensating that by networking and just being everywhere, posting, sharing quotes, motivation. And did I ever post motivation though? No, I don't think I posted motivation. I'm not so good. I'm not big on motivation. So I started like, hey, let me upskill much more. So like the more I started upskilling now, I started like reading, the more I would feel like, I don't know much. I started feeling like I don't know. I really I don't know a lot. So this one time I got a gig. There's a time that I got a gig, yeah. When I got a gig, it was mostly Excel. So like Excel is not a lot for me. Okay, I'm saying that, and they keep on saying that you should never say that you know Excel, because the moment you say that you know Excel, then that's when now you don't know Excel. But yeah, it wasn't a problem for me. So like I was able to like execute the project. It was a data analytics project, so I was able to execute the project and like submit, and I got paid. I got paid for the money. I got paid for the job that I had done. That was like the very first time that I made my data analytics money. So when I got paid, for me that was like the wake up call. I was like, oh wow, this is actually real. This is not jokes. This is real. And I remember that night I was just like sitting alone, journaling, music playing, the rain outside. I'm joking. I was just like, nilikuwa rock bottom, my friend. Hiyo time my friend, maisha ilikuwa imenitwanga. Yeah. Life had beaten me proper. Like, it's like life was just waiting for me to get intake, and then they said, niachie huyo niachie sai. Life had really beat, ilikuwa imenitwanga. Like ilikuwa inaniweka tu ma uppercut. Like life was just a lot for me during that time. So I was just there thinking to myself that, I am feeling like this life thing, this tech thing has now started to make sense, and I really need to be serious. So I just called myself for a meeting, and I attended. Sometimes you can call yourself for a meeting and not attend. So you have to call for yourself for like a meeting and attend that meeting, because during that time, the job market has been bad for quite a while. But hey, me, I do not buy into that. Well, others are saying that there's a casting down. Me, I shall say there's a lifting up. I don't know about y'all. So yeah, the job market was really bad even then. Stay safe, y'all. The job market was really bad even then, and I used to like that a lot, because it made me feel so good about myself. During that time when I was overcompensating and looking for mentors left, right, and center, it was good for me, because I was overcompensating, because now I have an escape route. Because if you ask me something, I can say, oh yeah, the market is not good. The market is bad. But deep down I knew the issue is not even the market. Deep down is like, even if the market was good, there are some tasks that I cannot be able to perform. Unless you're giving me stuff to do with Excel, then that I can do. But if you're giving me tasks to do with something else, like the tools, and at that very moment I had not even done my ever first data visualization. You see, the way I was making noise about tech that time, I had not even done a data visualization at that very moment. Looking back, I don't know what was wrong with my brain. So I was there riding on that wave that the market is really bad. But in real sense, it wasn't even about the market, because even if the market was good, I was not competent. So I called myself for a meeting one night, and I told myself, Checky, you've really done an amazing job fooling yourself that you're skilled and you're made for this thing, but you need to be really honest with yourself. And honesty is not just to acknowledge that you are lacking in skill. No, honesty is to acknowledge and you start working towards it. So I decided during that time, I called myself and I said, hey man, like, I'm not doing anything constructive. I'm doing such a disservice to myself, because I can do so much, I can be so much, but I am just ignoring I'm ignoring the things that I can do and who I can become, because for this long time I have lied to myself that I can do, I've managed to fool myself that I am being productive, I am upskilling, while in real sense I am doing absolutely nothing. And I just had a real talk with myself. Honestly, I just had a real talk with myself. Like, I wrote it down and I said, I would read you that journal, by the way, but hey, nasikia cringe. I cannot read you the journal, but yeah, I wrote it down and I said that I just examined myself and I said that, yeah, this is what I've been doing, and this and this and this, and it's not right. Like, it's not adding any value to my life. Like, it's giving me the clout, but okay, not clout is such a big word, but yeah, it's giving me the small attention, but in real sense I am not upskilling. So I started to upskill. So for me, what I did was, at that moment I had also not like healed from my denial very well. So I picked a piece of paper and I wrote all the days of the month. I can't tell you which month was that because I can't remember. But I know it was a month that had 31 days, and I wrote 1 all the way to 31. And I said every day I want to be reading 2 hours. So like every day that I would read for 2 hours, I would write it. I would like cross it. And because they normally say that if you want to like win over an enemy, you have to understand the enemy that you're working with. So I said I want to be doing 2 hours every day for my data analytics towards my data analytics career, and I want to, when I do 2 hours, I'm just going to be crossing. When I do 2 hours, I'm going to be crossing. When I don't do 2 hours, I just leave it, because nobody is watching me. I'm not posting on social media, so like I can be honest with myself. So when I do 2 hours, I just start doing that. And before I did that, I started working backwards. I say that, I want to be a data analyst in company X. So what would a data analyst in company X do? What skills do they have? And so like I wrote down the skills, and then now I looked at myself and where that person is, and I checked the skill gap. So I'm like, yeah, no, I need to like narrow the skill gap between me and that person that I want to become. So I picked this paper, wrote date 1 to 31. Every day I did something, I would cross. Every day I did not do something, I just leave it. When I do something, I cross. When I don't, I leave it. Let me tell you, at the end of that 1 month, I realized that, I was a weapon fashioned against me, because I think I had done only like 7 days. 9 if I'm being kind. 9 if I'm being kind to myself. And I remember I just like I went into a crisis, because sasa evidence iko hapo kwa karatasi, like I am doing nothing, literally. I have these big dreams and where I want to be, the kind of data person that I want to be, but I'm doing nothing, And I remember I can't say I wept, but I felt so sad for myself. I honestly felt so sad for myself, because I was like, you know what, Grace, you are never ever going to make it in this career if this is the trend, because you don't, and And they snapped when they said that, like, you don't get what you dream of, you get what you work for. And you don't get the results that you wish you would have. You get the results from the things that you're really consistent with. And I just looked at that paper with like my 9 days crossed over. Yeah, in a month where there were like 744 hours, I only managed 9 days. Going by the 2 hours I was reading, I should have done 62. So if I did 9, and I feel like 9 is when I'm being too kind and modest, but let's just go with 9. I did 18. My target is 62 hours and I did 18 hours. And I was expecting to compete with these people. Like, I'm expecting to compete with everybody else in this field. And that's when it hit me at that very moment that I actually have to be serious and I have to do the most. And I started doing the most. I said that even if I don't share on social media, which is good to share, do both. Do both. If you can do both, even better. Even if I don't share it at all, like, I am good. Like, I'm okay. Like, even if I don't like manage to share, as long as I'm upskilling, like, I am good. So I started working on my goals, like, seriously. I would go even beyond like 2 hours, because I realized that the enemy number one that I was fighting is consistency. Because once you defeat one enemy, there's always another thing coming up. So now that's what I realized during that time. And then I started doing the 100 days of financial analysis. And then I stopped at like day 36. I stopped at like day 36, like doing, and also I stopped doing it on the background. I also stopped sharing, and then I started doing other things, because there's that thing where, yeah, I'm working on this project, and then now you think of another fun project, and then now you go for another fun project, and then at the end of the day you just have like a lot of projects that are like not done and they're not complete, which is a problem on its own. You need exorcism. I'm telling you for free, you need exorcism, because that's also very bad. So I start my financial analysis. I feel like when I was doing 100 days of financial analysis, that's when like a lot of more people now started like knowing me. And I stopped at day 36. And when I stopped at day 36, nobody bothers, which they shouldn't. Nobody cares, because nobody's going to come to your DMs and tell you, hey, but they have noticed that you're doing 100 days challenge and now you stopped. The social media has so many things to consume. You, as you've been inconsistent, there's someone else who's been consistent, and they're like, posting their stuff and all that jazz. So you just have to be very honest. So I quit it. Like, I started it and I quit. I honestly quit, and it was doing really well because I was tracking every single thing. And that's when I was telling you that at that very moment, how I was looking at success was very flawed. I was looking at it from a very flawed perspective, because what do you mean you're not motivated? I mean, motivation, manze, is an illusion. You just have like to show up even on the days that you feel like it and the days that you don't feel like it, because even in like a week you could be motivated like 3 times. So does that mean that you'll show up 3 times? And even in a day you can't be motivated the whole day. It's like a specific number of hours. So does that mean that now you're not going to be showing up for your stuff? So yeah, I did that and I stopped. But I still owe myself 100 days of financial analysis, which I'm planning to do next year, because right now I'm doing 100 days of SQL or SQL, potato, depending on what you want to call it. And it's even much better right now. Of course, right now I have accountability. Like, nobody is following up on me, but I have developed so much discipline from like all the years back up to this very moment. I have developed a lot of discipline. I have defined what success means to me. I have defined why it's important for me to just be consistent in things. I run a newsletter for SQL. Actually, if you want to sign up for that newsletter, I'm going to link the description down below. We are going to do, right now we are like at date 18 out of 100. The challenge is supposed to end on December 22nd. Yeah, December 22nd, like, we'll be done with that Nini, because for me, I did not want to cross over the year with hanging skills, like skills that need to be perfected and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, you know what, let me just make this last quarter count. So that's why I started the 100 days of SQL. And it's been really great, because the accountability there is even much more. I have built that community because I have subscribers in newsletter where we like engage and stuff like that. So I cannot miss a day, because the newsletter is supposed to be up on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Like right now, I'm supposed to, after this recording this, because tomorrow is on Wednesday, and this episode is supposed to come up, and also the newsletter is supposed to come out, So I cannot post this YouTube video and then not send a newsletter, because now this is what pseudo productivity would look like, because I would focus so much on this YouTube channel, which is not upskilling. This is not upskilling, and then ignore the very thing that is making me upskill, which is the SQL newsletter, because now I can't send rumors. I have to know what I'm sending, so I have to read and I have to understand, and then I have to send the newsletter. So like, yeah, we do real world cases and problems, and I also record some tutorials. You can find them in these two channels. In this my channel, I record the tutorials for the problems that we also solve, because even when I miss it, like there's a day during my birthday I did not post. I wasn't gonna do that. During my birthday we did not share the newsletter, so I missed that one day, and somebody just emailed me, because you can reply to the newsletter. Somebody emailed me and asked me, hi, did you send the newsletter today, because I might have missed it. I did not receive my newsletter, so could you please resend, And that's accountability number one. And then the accountability number two is the one where you use your critical thinking and you use your brain, because now I told you my frontal lobe is fully developed. I am thinking that these people took their time to sign up for these newsletters so that they could be part of the SQL challenge. They are looking forward to a newsletter every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I cannot not send that newsletter. And in hindsight, what am I doing? On the flip side, what am I doing? I am upskilling even more, because I cannot send you rumors. I have to send you facts. And for me to send you something, I have to understand it. And for me to understand SQL, it means that I'm upskilling. So like, a win is a win. The newsletter might be free, it might be taking my time, but at the end of the day, I'm gaining more value that I would have. With that in mind now, let's talk about that project that that is in your computer, that you've been talking about it, you've been researching about it, you've been reading articles about it, you've been doing everything else apart from now working on that project. Go and delete that project or work on it. But keeping that project when it's incomplete, it's giving you an illusion that you're doing something, while in real sense, you are doing nothing. And I'm saying that with a lot of love. I'm going to even hold your hand when I say this. Go and delete that project, because that's what I did also to my project. Go and do those projects. Go and finish those projects. Be honest in your journey. Nobody's coming to beat you. When you are alone, just be honest. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with where you are at, because I'm telling you, once you lie to yourself, you start thinking you're a victim, because you've lied to yourself that you're upskilling. So even when you're getting rejected in like the job application, you're also telling yourself, oh my god, the job market is really bad. Well, it is, but let that be like the only reason as to why you're not landing a role, that the job market is bad, but not because like you're not upskilling or anything of that sort. Okay, so I'm just gonna hold your hand when I tell you this, that sometimes you're not upskilling as much as you think you are. You're just lying to yourself, and you're doing everything else apart from upskilling. So check yourself and make sure you are intentionally upskilling. And I'm going to give you that method that I did. Just take a piece of paper, write the days of the month, 31 days, and set a goal for yourself. Say, I want to be upskilling for like 2 hours, and every day you upskill for 2 hours, just cross it. Every day you don't leave it. Every day you do. You don't even have to do 31, just do 1 week. Let's start small. Just do 1 week. Just write 7 days and say, in these 7 days, I'm going to be upskilling 2 hours every single day, or whatever amount of hours that you want. I mean, it's okay. So if you upskill, cross it. If you don't, leave it. I am telling you, by the end of next week, you will have your own evidence, and you will realize that you are actually the weapon fashioned against you. So with that, thank you so much for tuning in to this show, and I will see you next week, where we talk about something else. I'm not going to jinx it.